He's been a preacher for 3 years. He's intense with common sense. He's Erick here, where help is here. Today on a very special edition of Preacher Erick. Erick here will be leaving the studio to do an interview about his preaching career. Preacher Erick interview starts now. Hi, how you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm doing good. Oh wow, this is my first time I ever did an interview with anyone before.
Well, we're glad to have you here, Erick. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Go ahead, I'll be glad to hear.
To get started, I would like to know, how did you become a preacher?
It started in my 7th grade year. I was coming from Van Nuys, Lancaster, from Van Nuys to Lancaster. I was moving from middle schools. And I came to school, Cole Middle School, my first day there. I was in the PE, which was my first class of the day. And I saw a student. I started talking with him, and then since that day, God came and told me to become a preacher.
Oh, that's interesting. And how did you get the name?
I got the name the exact same week. There was some kids who got that day when I started talking to the kids. Some 40, 50 kids got around me, and after that day, that same week, they called me preacher. So, and then God confirmed the name for me later on.
And how long have you been a preacher?
I have been a preacher for 3 years. I was a preacher for Cole Middle School for 1.5 years, and now I've been a preacher at Eastside for 1.5 years. So I've been a preacher for 3.5 years. About to complete my 4th year in October. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. And is it hard being a preacher?
It is really hard. It's really challenging, and you have to have the structure and the strength and the knowledge and the common sense and all that stuff. Because you don't know what kind of kid you can handle with, but you also have to have the compassion and the love too. If you have the guidance of God and you have the things that God wants you to do to become a preacher, you'll do a fabulous job. But if you're not prepared and you're not ready and you don't have God's guidance, then it will be, you possibly might not last a week being a school preacher. It just takes. It's a hard job, at the same time it's easy and it's fun. But it does take a lot of your energy. It does take, in the beginning, it's easy, it's smooth, it's great, it's fabulous. But then you get more into it, becoming a preacher, and you start losing, your body doesn't feel the same anymore, but you still want to do the job.
Oh, that's great. And during the time that you have been a preacher, and you continue being a preacher, have you ever had a moment in which you want to quit?
Yes, I have. It was my first time was in Cole Middle School. It was in Cole Middle School. Some kids, it was a kid got into, some kids said something was a little bit offensive. He wanted to take my job. It was not an easy day. It wasn't an easy day. It was a very hard day, and that day I said I just wanted to quit. And it happened Cole Middle School, Eastside. Because being a preacher isn't easy. A lot of people see it as an easy job. It looks like an easy job, but it isn't an easy job. It isn't. You have fun some days, but you mostly, being a preacher has a lot of hard days, and you have to do a lot of nonsense, a lot of judgment, and people saying a lot of stuff about you. And mostly, I get some good comment. I get some pretty good stuff. Like, a lot of people talk really good about me. But there's some few people who does not. They try to ruin your day, so they try to say things that are not nice. Or people don't like what you said, or people don't like what you do, and they just try to hurt your feelings. But I'm strong, and I'm brave, and I don't think I should really focus what people say. I know who I am, and I know why I'm doing this job. Because God put me. If God didn't want me to have this job, He wouldn't put me for it.
That's interesting. And
follow us at Facebook and Instagram at Judge Me Here.